Welcome back to Common Sense, and with me is a young agriculturist, Joshua Macy, and I'm just going to ask him a few questions about agriculture. I mean, it's not an area that I am expertly inclined about, but for the sake of our viewers and for myself, we're going to get some education from someone intimately involved in the field. Firstly, could you tell us a bit about your history and how you
got into agriculture?
Correct.
I am a student from a former student of Guidance of Agriculture, 2015 to 2017, and then I went to hydromet service from 2017 to present, and I'm currently a second-year food science student at the University of Guyana. Since I've started in 2015, I've been advocating for agriculture and for young people in agriculture. I do have a small business. It is pharmacy, agro business. We do agro processing and gardening service. I also work along with OGN support as the agriculturist. So that's my background in agriculture.
Excellent. Now, what are your thoughts on the past 4 days, the conference? We've had leaders coming from other Caribbean countries. We've had seminars and conferences, and now we have the exhibition. What are your thoughts on the entire 4 days?
Well, I think it's the entire thing. My thoughts, we've been here before. That's what the premier of Trinidad said. We've been here before, but it's given me a sense of we have a rich opportunity at this time to push agriculture. Like, my question, what's the difference is that we have financing. We have the oil and gas revenue to invest into agriculture, and I see more than dreams, and I hope that we have the support. I hope that we have the financial support, and I hope that after this thing is ended, we continue to work with the young people, for the young people, because the true investment is in the young people. Hearing these speeches, I felt yeah, we are rich in opportunities. And you walk around the expo, you see the agro processors, you see the farmers, you see what we have here. And if we get the support, we get the finances, and they run with it, and government work with us, and certain institutions like FAO, ECA, and they work with us, we can do so much beyond 2025. And so I loved it.
Love the
It kicked something inside of me. It started something inside me that has always been there. And as a young agriculture advocate, I always tell young people, if you didn't get to go to Expo, if you did not get to go to the Expo, you missed out an opportunity to see what Guyana have to offer today in 2022 for agriculture.
Excellent. Now, agriculture is not one of the most popular and glamorous fields. You always hear about being a lawyer, being an accountant, being a doctor, and all of those stuff. As a matter of fact, over the past 8 years, I was reading some statistics this morning, there's been a mass exodus of persons from the agricultural industry, not only in Guyana, but throughout the Caribbean. What would you tell a young person watching? I mean, want to get into agriculture, but because it's not glamorous and so forth, they may be discouraged. Tell us a bit about the opportunities in the sector, and also about the benefits of becoming a farmer or being in the agricultural industry.
My message to young people that are in agriculture, I've been in agriculture for close to 7 years now. Agriculture isn't easy, it is hard, but agriculture open up so many opportunities and so many room for you. Agriculture is wealth. We in the Caribbean haven't seen agriculture in that light. So when you think about agriculture, think about STEM, think about agro businesses, think about climate change, hydrology, think about data research, data scientists. There are things outside the agriculture sector that make the agriculture sector work. So think about agro legislation. We in the agriculture field, we need lawyers. So you want to go and study to become a lawyer? come into the agriculture sector, see the bills, see the legislation that governs the agriculture sector, because we need the help to actually push the sector beyond what it is today. And for me, agriculture, I was like 16 when I discovered GSA, but since I went and I was introduced to agriculture, I would run with it. So don't give up. If you come into the agriculture sector, be prepared to fail. But failure isn't, once you fail, you know you're doing something. But you get it, you learn from your failure and you keep going, because agriculture is the way. After all, we all gotta eat. And if we don't feed nobody, if the farmers don't feed we can't function.
Excellent point. Now, you mentioned something about wealth creation. Many times in Guyana and in the Caribbean, agriculture is seen more as a subsistence thing whereby it's just able to provide for yourself and for your family and that's it. But we know that agriculture is not only meant to be subsistence, you're just barely making it, but it could be an avenue for wealth creation. Can you touch a bit more on that, and also what are some impediments you believe that have been keeping back persons from really experiencing the wealth that agriculture has?
All right. So when I mentioned the wealth of agriculture, agriculture is a sector that keeps adding to itself. So we have the producers, we have the agro processors, which do the produce value added produce. So the value added produce is where the majority wealth of agriculture is, and that's like say somebody plant coconut, the value added producer collect the coconut, turns that coconut into coconut milk. That's where most of the wealth is. You add value to your agriculture produce. And for what is holding us back in Guyana is the support in buying these things, the equipment and the engineering, and also in the agriculture sector, we need the AI. We need the data research persons, we need the data scientists. But most importantly, we need financing, we need tax breaks, and also we need help in getting our legislations sorted out for the food safety bills, and also for our person in agriculture who's thinking to export, we need the bureaucracy inside of it. We need less of the bureaucracy and more help, less words, more help, more financial help.
Final question. Do you feel hopeful about the development of the agricultural industry after the events over the past week?
I felt hopeful before the event. After this event, I hope these young people that are in agriculture with me continue to advocate for agriculture, and the opportunity that this event opened up, it allowed us to network with investors, it allowed us to network with our countries within the Caribbean, our Caribbean sisters and brothers, and the opportunities it can keep unfolding, and it keep unfolding. We get the oil and gas resources here, but also we have the dreams, we have the drive, and young people keep at it, keep pushing, and either way job, and we can go forward in agriculture.
Thank you very much, Joshua, and do stay tuned for more content from Common Sense. Don't worry with the persons walking by, it's Guyana, we do things differently. We're back on Common Sense, and we are at the Agri Investment Forum and Expo under the theme Investing in Vision 25 by 2025. And we're just asking a few persons about their thoughts on the conference and the agricultural sector as a whole. And with me, I have Omari Joseph. He is employed at the Guyana Tourism Authority.
Yes.
And what are your thoughts on everything that has transpired over the past 4 days at the Expo?
Well, I have to say that I think that the Expo is a good initiative. It provides the opportunity for various businesses that are in the agriculture sector or connected to it, and by extension the tourism sector as well, given that I'm here representing the Guyana Tourism Authority. I think that it's an excellent opportunity for all those businesses to connect, create linkages, and it's not only for something that's within Guyana, but also connecting to the various CARICOM countries, as I've had the opportunity actually to talk to representatives from multiple of the islands and other countries within CARICOM.
Can you tell us a bit about the potential for agricultural tourism in Guyana?
Well, I think that there's great potential for agritourism in Guyana. We are a country that once relied very heavily on agriculture as a sector. We know that's something that we can think of as something of the past. But those things or those industries that may have been relics of the past, even like sugar, are things that now we can put on and show to persons within or outside of Guyana as tourism products. People would love to see how cane is processed and becomes sugar. People would love to see even the same for rice, coconuts, many of the other agricultural products that we produce right here in Guyana, even cassava as well.
Excellent. Now, given you were in a position to create policy, what would be some of the things that you would want to see in the agricultural industry in Guyana over the next 2 years to further bolster it? Because we would have spoken about the Dutch disease many times. You hear it a lot in Guyana. We don't want to become too over-reliant on oil and gas and neglect the importance of the agricultural industry. So what are some things that you want to see that can further catapult the agricultural industry and become a major business in Guyana?
Well, first, I'd like to say that I'm not in a position to influence policy. However, what I can say is that there are many things that we can do or that I hope to see happen for the development of agriculture within Guyana. And first and foremost, that would be ensuring that we have a wider variety of local products and ensure that there are proper linkages for those products where they are produced to get to market. One of the limitations we have for many of our agricultural products is transport. Many of the products coming out from places within the interior is very expensive for those products to move. And if that cost can be brought down by road linkages or other logistical linkages, that would significantly help those within the agriculture sector, specifically farmers. That would empower them and actually allow them to benefit from the growing markets that we have in Guyana. Something else that I'd also like to see is increased trade within or among our CARICOM brothers and sisters. I think that we have products, and I'd also echo the sentiments of our president. He would have mentioned that that's important. The trading between the various CARICOM countries, we have the capacity to feed ourselves and significantly reduce the massive import bill that we have. So if we're able to trade the bountiful supply of food that we can produce, it would be beneficial not only to Guyanese, but also the wider CARICOM region.
For young people that are watching, agriculture is not a glamorous industry. Everybody wants to wear the
suit and tie
and the yellow and the oil and gas
uniform,
jumpsuit, the jumpsuit and all that kind of stuff. Nobody wants to wear long boots and gloves and those kind of stuff. Many times when you think about agriculture, the first thing that comes to mind is knives and cutlasses, but it doesn't have to be that way anymore in this current dispensation of our country's development. But what would you say to encourage young people to get into the agricultural sector, given its potential for significant growth?
Well, three things. First, I'd like to say that if you want to be able to be productive and contribute to the development of Guyana, agriculture is one of those places to do it. Second, as someone who works quite often in the field, I think it's pretty foolish to get hung up on the glamour or the perceived importance of a particular job. If you're making an important contribution in something as fundamental as food, everyone has to eat.
Definitely.
You'll be making a big contribution to society. You have to respect those that take the time to wake up early and put in the hard hours and the hard labor to produce the food that you eat every single day. These are things that many people may take for granted. And like the old people might say, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. And you would definitely understand the importance when you don't have food on your plate. And if you're in a situation as a Caribbean country, or as Guyana for instance, where most of the food comes from outside, what happens if those supply chains are affected, as you might see in times where there are war or other diplomatic issues that may occur internationally? What do you say then? And finally, this is something that I think many young people need to consider, and it follows off of the previous point about not being hung up on glamorous jobs. But agriculture is something that it requires a certain touch or love, because it's an industry that requires production. And in my opinion, when you look at the food that's grown, you need to think about it as you caring for the food or producing the food that will nourish yourself and obviously the greater population. So if you have Guyana in your heart, producing food for your fellow Guyanese and by extension the Caribbean is something that you should certainly consider.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Omari, for those excellent remarks, and do stay tuned for more content from the Agro Investment Forum and Expo.
I must say it's a great initiative by you, bro. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share some words. And be sure to subscribe to Common Sense. Check them out on Facebook and all other platforms. Thanks again, Matthew.
Definitely. Welcome back to Common Sense, and with me is a recent graduate from the University of Guyana, Govinda Ragabansi, and he would have graduated with a degree in economics. And I'm just here asking a few questions about his thoughts on the conference and some of his policy suggestions as Guyana continues towards our development. Now, this conference has been ongoing over the past 4 days. We've had leaders from Trinidad, Barbados, and some other Caribbean islands coming to the Guyanese shore, as well as many investors and businesses coming to display and exhibit their products. You've been here today, you've visited a few booths, I'm sure. What are your thoughts on the conference?
All right, well, first of all, pleasure to be here, guys. So the conference has been a much needed forum. Why I'm saying that? So we've heard a lot about the Dutch disease and the effects it would have if we continue to just focus on oil and oil and oil. We have always depended on agriculture, and it has always been a stable source of income, not just for the locals, but it also earns us export revenues, which allows us to keep foreign trade going, allows us to improve our standard of living, access more goods. And you have seen, as you are going around the booths, that the farmers are now becoming more and more innovative. You've seen a lot more products, a lot more value additives. So it's a step in the right direction that was much needed.
Excellent point. He spoke about the importance of diversification of the economy, because as we know, oil is not going to be here for the rest of our lives, and it's very important that if Guyana wants to continue to have a balanced economy, that we don't just focus all of our energies on the oil and gas sector. Agriculture, which has been our bread and butter for most of the years, continues to expand and expand rapidly. Now, the president has spoken about his goal to reduce the food import bill by 2025 by 25%. What are your thoughts on that initiative?
Well, again, so as a region, I think I read an article recently where our export bill is around 35 billion. So if we are to inject that same money into our local economies, and Guyana plays a bigger role, as the president said, in facilitating this import bill. So if a sizable amount of that money is put into Guyana, not only the big farms are going to receive that, but it will in some way go down to the smaller farmers, because there are a lot of agriculture products. Not one farm can do everything. So there's opportunity for everyone. And I think that by reducing the import bill and taking on that initiative, we can potentially go in the right direction there again.
Final question before you go. Many times growing up as young people, we hear about becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor, working in the public sector. But you don't hear parents encouraging young people to become farmers or get into agriculture. What piece of advice would you leave to young people that may be thinking of a career goal, a career path? What piece of advice would you leave for them concerning getting involved in the agricultural industry, given that it has the potential to be a massive business in Guyana?
I would suggest that persons do not hold these careers as the only thing they should do. They should always aim to diversify, and farming is a very viable option, right? There are a lot of opportunities, and however, we should conduct the risk instead of just jumping onto a venture. So there's one thing we should always do. And I've seen recently there's been an uptake of businesses trying to develop their infrastructure, their internal infrastructure, in an attempt to qualify for bigger loans. And it's something that we should do as well. We should always be solid with our accounting. We don't just want to cook the books, because at the end of the day, if we really want, we need to realize that Guyana is a small market. At the end of the day, it's only 750,000 persons. If we really want to tackle the region, which is a much bigger market, we should try to say to our procedures and be very sound.
Just stay tuned for more from the Agro Business Expo. Welcome back to Common Sense, and I'm here with another business, Action Invest Caribbean, and Keon Smith. He is the representative from Action Invest, and he's going to share a bit about some of the services that are offered by Action Invest. But before we get to that, can you please introduce yourself for the viewers?
Sure, no problem. So, hi everyone, I am Keon Smith. I am currently the coaching and training director at Action Invest Caribbean. At our company, we offer business coaching and training services that will help business owners to streamline their organizations, help their teams to improve their performance, and of course, as a business owner, you want to ensure that you get more profits for yourself and your company. The training you can do is to enhance the skill set of your team so that they can perform more efficiently and effectively.
Excellent. Now, before I touch back on Action Invest, what are your overall thoughts on this conference?
I think that this conference is indeed, I think it's probably now more worthy than anything else, because it allows businesses in Guyana to have a platform to showcase their talent, showcase what they've been doing in the background. I mean, if you look around, you're seeing some businesses that you didn't even know existed much here in Guyana.
Definitely.
So it will be very, very keen for us to think about the opportunities that can come out from Guyana and the exposure that is giving to these micro and small businesses, to this growing crowd that you're seeing here. And you have persons from various backgrounds, from financial institutions to visitors here in Guyana, that could just give them that added exposure that they so desire.
Excellent. Now, as a business coach, and I'm sure you've had years of experience looking at small and micro businesses in Guyana, what would you say are some of the strengths, and what would you say are some of the weaknesses that Action Invest, through the business coaching and the business training, can help them to rectify?
All right, so I think right off the bat, I will start with some of the strengths of the micro businesses. One, they have the strength of flexibility. Because of their size, they can easily adapt to changes in the environment. They can have more personalized services to their current customers. But as much as that is a strength, that is also a weakness. Because in some cases, because of their size, it is difficult for them to fulfill large orders. It is difficult for them to be taken seriously by financial institutions and by large customers simply because of their size. I would encourage them as much as possible to make sure that they continuously put in the efforts to invest or reinvest into their business. And this brings me to one of their most inherent and critical weak points, and this is their financial management and prudency. So I would encourage businesses, even if it means that you just need to take a notebook and write down on a daily basis what your income and expenses are. That is the way that you start tracking your numbers, because business isn't run on emotions. You can't feel you're making money. You got to know that you're making money. And one of the ways that you know that you're making money is by actually tracking and being able to analyze your numbers.
Excellent points. I'm really glad that you brought that up, because I think over the past few weeks on the show, I've been stressing the importance of being documented, having a good track record of all of the expenditure, the revenue, so that one, you can know the health of your own business, and also for other, whether you want a loan, you're going to get a compliance from GRA, whatever it is, they want to know that your financial records are in place before you get certain documents.
Definitely, and as you were talking, I just remember one of the other big elements is that many micro businesses, the business owner doesn't pay themselves a salary.
Beautiful.
So actually what they do is that they subsidize the operations of their business with their free labor. But you have to think about it, who else would you get to come and work in your business for 8, 12, sometimes 16 hours for free? Nobody, it doesn't exist anywhere.
Correct.
I tell anybody, if you want to work for free, just hit me up. We have things that you can do, but you gotta pay yourself a salary. And even if you don't take it out physically from the business, you still need to document it so that you can really know the health of the business. Can the business actually be sustainable if it has to pay a salary? Because when you're ready to expand, you need to hire people. And they find it very, very difficult to pay a healthy wage simply because they haven't been paying themselves. They don't understand what it means to actually have salaries coming up from their business. So critical. Please make sure that you start, even if you weren't doing it before, pay yourself a salary from your business, even if you don't take it out physically, so you can see the health of your business.
Final question before you go. I have a wonderful magazine.
Yeah, so we call this is the Who's Who in Guyana Business Directory. It's more than just a magazine because it doesn't only have images of the company's products, it has the people behind the organization. And as much as we have the building, we have the equipment, etc., those things are important, but your human is critical to the operation of your business. So the Who's Who in Guyana Business Directory provides you with the opportunity not just to showcase your business, but also to showcase the key personnel within that organization. Gives them the exposure, and let's say if you need to make contact with them, you know exactly who to reach out to, who is the HR person, the director that you can reach out to directly, so you can start moving businesses forward. It is also an excellent marketing tool. For us as a company, we wanted a platform to showcase our business as well and that of our clients, and we found that there were a few magazines here and there, but we wanted one to be specifically focused on being able to describe the business climate in Guyana. Because if you look at the directory from the inception, it has about our culture, it has about doing business here in Guyana. We have about 15 sectors represented, and each sector has a write-up about that sector. So you're able to understand what is happening in the sector. You're able to, even as a business, determine can you fit into this sector. So it's really a comprehensive business tool other than just a marketing tool that you can use. And if you are not in the Who's Who as yet, you can always reach out to us and find out how can you secure your spot in the next edition of the Who's Who in Guyana Business Directory.
Thank you very much, and do stay tuned for more from the Agro Business Expo. I am at the Agri Investment Forum and Expo, investing in Vision 20 by 2025, a wonderful initiative that has been spearheaded by the government of Guyana. And over the past 4 days, we've had ministers from Caribbean countries, prime ministers. We had the Prime Minister of Trinidad, Mr. Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of Barbados, the wonderful Mia Motley, and other heads of governments throughout CARICOM. And the center of discussion has been the agricultural industry and sector. And it's a very pivotal moment in Guyana's development and history, given that we're now experiencing the bounty of the oil and gas industry. And we've heard a lot about the Dutch disease over the past few years. So we know the importance of diversification of the economy to ensure that 20 years, 25 years down the line, Guyana does not end up one of those countries that became overly reliant on oil and gas. So there's a lot of businesses on display, on exhibition here at the Artichoke Convention Center. A lot of amazing local produce, fruits, vegetables, new initiatives that are being crafted. And I would love to encourage everyone to come down to the Artichoke Convention Center and experience some of the beauty and creativity that we Guyanese possess. I want to take this time out to also shout out to our sponsors, Lucozid, Georgetown Capital, M&M Snacket, OMIU, Reminiscent GUI, and all of the other sponsors that make this initiative possible. And I know we have a very large following from the Caribbean islands, and I want to encourage persons watching from Trinidad, Barbados, Cuba, Peru, Belize, Aruba, wherever you are. Guyana is ripe for investment. We have the investment climate, and I want to encourage you guys to get on board with the opportunities that are available in Guyana and seek out means of investment. But most importantly, I want to encourage our locals, our Guyanese brothers and sisters, particularly our young people. We can't allow the bounty and the wealth that we are about to experience to not benefit. We can't allow ourselves to not benefit from them. And we're going to be having an influx of foreign companies, foreign nationals, but Guyana's blessings and bounty must be for the benefit of Guyanese. So I want to encourage all Guyanese to seek out investment opportunities, position yourself. There is support available through government, through private sector. And once you do that, you can set yourself up and your family to enjoy a fruitful and a bountiful life.